All right. Happy afternoon or morning, whatever time of day it is for you folks out there. Hey, welcome to the show. If you don't know me, hey, my name is Mike Asherbranner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And you are tuning in to Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN RVA 106.1 FM. Woo, I don't know about you, but I am still reeling from the great Sabir Chowdhury, all right, the Six Sigma legend. And not to disappoint, but we've got someone else in my wheelhouse, in my space. This guy, he don't need an introduction, but we'll give him one. Because listen, today's business world is loud. That's an understatement, folks. Everybody's networking, throwing out content, connecting, right? But few, if you really look hard, are really building relationships. And our guest today, he knows the difference, folks. So Steve Spiro, hey, y'all love this. He went from a shy, bullied introvert, all right, to a fourth degree black belt, successful entrepreneur, sales leader, and now the master connector with over 35 authentic relationships on LinkedIn followers. So he's proof, as we love it, the whole Hounds is built on this, that what we see as weakness can and absolutely should become our greatest superpower, folks. Take notes, interact, have fun. Let's connect with Steve. Let's roll this intro, and we're going to get this party started.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations, well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success, it's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
All right, folks, they're already piling in. Hounds, friends of the Hounds in the comments. Before they break the door down, let's bring him up. The one and only master connector, Steve Spiro. All right, no soundboard here, just authentic.
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. I appreciate being on with you, Mike.
Man, we did half the show in the backstage, didn't we?
We
I
did.
did anyway.
We
So,
did.
man, brother, appreciate you having you on.
It's an honor.
Let's get started. All right, you've been called the master connector, right, for a little while anyway, right, for quite a while. But you started out as a shy, in your words, bullied introvert. Can you
Mhm.
take us back, right? What were those early struggles like, Steve? And how did you begin turning them into strengths? Who you are?
Well, yeah, I mean, my best friends growing up, and you may be able to relate to this if you're a little older listening here, but uh, Jim Kirk, Captain Kirk, Felix Unger, and Jack, Ralph Cramden were my best friends growing up because I locked myself in my room growing up. I had no friends. My best friend at one point moved away, and I went to visit him on bike. It took me like an hour to get there, and he basically didn't even. It almost didn't matter to him that I'd visit him. So I'm like, all right. So a lot of rejection in my life, some bullying, as you mentioned, growing up, and I was just not the pillar who was going to succeed, but I had a chip on my shoulder, and I wanted to grow and succeed, and so wound up going into advertising marketing. Went to high school for that, college for that. Got out, couldn't get a job, so started a company, opened an advertising agency, and I thrived in the advertising world. I also had a double black belt, a couple of black belts in the martial arts, so that's been interesting experience. Started to get me a little bit out of my shell, but still in a box. I mean, think about it. In the martial arts, in my world, it was like I'd rather hit you than talk with you. It's like it was easy to relate in the martial arts, right? If you didn't say anything I liked, you got a little 1-2 in there, But it wasn't until I was deep in the advertising industry, and a good friend of mine had introduced me to an incredibly successful entrepreneur who took me under his wing and challenged me to meet three strangers every day. And I know, some of the folks here, I know you're from the South, Mike, and I've been to the South a bunch, and you talk to somebody for about 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, and they're like, "Y'all should come over for dinner tonight." I'm like, not gonna happen in New York. So you talk to a stranger, you're gonna get shot, kidnapped, or killed up here, and still do it to this day, but started to amass a network, and so it's just been a wild journey. Now they asked me to speak. I got a LinkedIn Live broadcast called the Master Connector Show. I wrote a book, so it's a wild experience since those days of being bullied, but. I think, every adversity lies a seed of equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill quoted that. And I've learned that, in our weakness, and I think you say it in your intro video, there's opportunities and there's ways that you can grow from that. And I think all that happened to me, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is my feeling.
Folks, if you're in the comments and you feel comfortable with it, hey, what Steve just said, he just started off the first minute, right? Things that we see that hold us back, right? And you could call it anything, insecurity, right? Not knowing, the self-worth, all that stuff. And you said it best, one person. If you want to share that, because I've had a lot of one persons in my career, right? You'll have somebody here that gets you there. And then when you get to a new plateau and challenge, you get another person in your life, right? Tanya Eberhardt, right? There's lots of them. April, I can go on and on. So, I love that story because we can relate to that. We're people, right? So real quick, just to cap it off, the martial arts, right? And these influences, right? How has that discipline and resilience, from these experiences, martial arts, how has it influenced the way you build your career in business, or has it?
No, it definitely has. So like one of the things when I started the martial arts, I'm on the shorter side. Today, a little stocky, but back then I was skinny. Not the epitome of success in the martial arts. I started a little later in life, and everybody in my class were more talented than me. They started younger than me, and I was getting my butt beat. But you know what? I stuck with it, and I got my nose busted really bad. I learned how to not block into my 6'5", 300-pound sensei's roundhouse kick, and his nose busted up my nose. And I didn't even leave class. I didn't go to the ER. I just said, I'm going to fix it myself. And that's a whole nother story into itself. Lots of stitches. But what I learned is if you don't quit, you win. And what happened is I had stuck with it. And when I finally backed away, I was already a 4th-degree black belt. I had passed everyone in that class except for I'll call him my mentor, John, who when I got started, 3 months after I started training, he went up for his black belt. I passed everyone but him. When I backed away, he was at 5th degree black belt. I was at 4th degree. And that was, just learning how to just get through stuff and just know that if you just stick with it, do the work, follow a mentor, a sensei, a coach, you're going to succeed. And that was a major lesson. And there's lots of lessons I could tell you, but that's the first one that kind of pops in my head.
See, oh gosh, we can make a whole show on just that, right? Like maybe we'll do it tomorrow. He's coming on the HOB Live if I don't scare him off. Folks. Yeah, so you get to interact more so with the great Steve here. But what doesn't, if you don't quit, you win. But see, I just heard Alex Hormozy on a YouTube. That could be 10 years, 20. Again, who knows? You can compress time frames, but it doesn't matter. I'm here to win, dadgummit. I want to figure it out. That's your mentality. I love this. So, wow. And everybody's going nuts. I can't even keep up already. All right. So let's get into it, because vulnerability and, authentic leadership, man, we share that in common. We really do. So we often say weakness can become power, right? We've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by that? What does it mean to you? What's your best, advice or wisdom to pass on? What does weakness can become power mean to you? And how does vulnerability giving you the confidence in these rooms that you once fell out of place in, man? Fish out of water.
Yeah, great question. And the two questions kind of relate. So take you back. Here I was, a lot of rejection, bullied. I was I had I was in a dark place, low self-esteem, really hurt, wounded. And when you're hurt and wounded, the last thing you want to be is around people, because the more you're around people, the more vulnerable, they can kind of make that wound even deeper or worse, right? So you sort of avoid people, and that's why the whole locking myself in a room, making Jim Kirk my best friend, like that. But eventually I started to get peace within myself. I started to understand, and I believe anyone listening to this, you're worthy, right? The God, I'm not getting religious, but God puts a seed of greatness in all of us. And I started to realize, I'm enough. I'm worthy. And you know what? My mentor, the gentleman I mentioned, that one person you referenced, he was incredible, still is. And I would look at him, and number one, I tried to be him. I tried to be, and I was going to be always the second class somebody else, or
Me
I'll be a
too.
first class me, right? And one of the things, he was very charismatic. He was super funny. I'm working towards those things, but I'm not those things. But I am sincere, and I started to realize that, you know what, I'm good enough. And I started to realize that I could share my vulnerabilities, my insecurities, and things that I've been through, and it's okay, right? I didn't, once I released that, and I wasn't concerned about people getting close and learning who the real Steve was, and I was open about it. Now the connections became powerful. I became powerfully confident. And so in my world, that's what that means. In that weakness, there's power. And to me, the power is the power of real human connection. And by being vulnerable and being able to drop those guards, I was talking to somebody. He said, I mentor people, men and women. He said, but dudes, they're hard to get them to talk. And I have no challenge getting people to talk. I just share my story, get vulnerable, and then all of a sudden, those dudes start getting vulnerable and start sharing their vulnerabilities, their insecurities.
But well, I know the Hounds going nuts on this, and the listeners, because it's the truth. That's what people want. You don't have to be Mr. Funny if that's not default you, Steve.
Right.
That's me.
Right.
But see, you have an aspect that relates to the people, right? Because you're vulnerable, you're open about this, and you're kind of a
Right.
tough guy. You got a real strong persona that you have grown and built through the healing, but you're relatable. That's the balance to me. Hey, I got confidence, but I'm still down to earth. I still relate to people.
Right.
I still care about people, and
Absolutely.
that's why you're here, right? So, and going to be him, man, you just helped me because so many times I listen to gurus and I respect them, but then I start talking like them. And if you're out there saying, well, I don't have my own voice, I think Goggins said this same thing, similar you said. Go pick aspects of people. If
Yeah.
you respect and admire, Steve's openness to be vulnerable and tough and strong at the same time, then go don't copy Steve. Go pick that aspect out and
Mhm.
make it yours. Go
That's
look
right.
at people you admire and take those little pieces together, right? Boy, I got a quilt that's crazy, like Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali, like it's just so many people that I want to be like.
Sure.
So thank you for that because that's
Of course.
powerful.
Yeah.
Um, why is this so critical? So we're told to, a lot of us are still by auto suggestion or whatever, right? Told to project strength and all. But you argue that authenticity, even if it's a little crusty, right, is the real superpower. You're going to develop it. So why is that so critical today in business? Because people still think it's an afterthought.
Yeah. I mean, I think number one, I heard it said when you're, if you're, my mentor said when you're on stage, and if, let's say, like he said, he told a story. He's like, I came on stage and I had a bite to eat, and there was like a big sloppy ketchup stain on my tie. And if you don't point it out, like people, the only thing people thinking about is that sloppy stain on your tie. He said, so I pointed it out. And so I believe number one, if you're up on stage and you're nervous, say you're nervous, right? Just being vulnerable, it really brings that human aspect. And I know the big part of the show is breaking barriers. You want to talk about breaking barriers? You be vulnerable, you're breaking barriers. I think people, especially in the world we're on, where everyone is like, their Instagram or whatever social shows their perfect life. I think people are tired of perfection, and I think somebody in the comments mentioned it. They want to see real, and by being vulnerable and showing that side of you, it's human, and people relate, and people start to become relatable themselves. They start to break down those barriers, and I believe it's a way to really create real true human connection.
I couldn't agree more. And Chris, DiStefano, he is amazing hound friend of mine. Trying to be perfect, he says, is the perfect prison.
That's right.
Yeah, see, y'all are more eloquent than me. I just use more words. Thank you. No, we're saying the same thing, and thank you
For
for
sure.
doing that because people will see you and go, "Oh, that guy's so great," and I'll never get there. Blah blah blah, and that's why we love these stories because if
Yeah.
we could do it, you can. But you have
Absolutely.
to. You have to be willing to pay the price. You have to be willing to grow to a level
Mhm.
that makes most people run away from you, and
Yeah.
they don't see the overnight success that took 20 years, Steve, or 40
That's right.
years.
That's right.
So, yeah,
That's right.
I tell you what, before we get moving forward, I'm going to give a shout out to a man that fits this to a T. All right. Mike King Biz Radio. And He is so good. He pushes up his community so well that they put him on the jumbotron, Steve, during the ball games, right? They're Virginia. So thank you for our partnership. We love this, taking this international, pushing up these kind of stories, right? People need to know this because you have a passion to be somebody, do something special, right? And we want to make sure that people have the motivation, inspiration, but also the people, resources, and support to get it done, folks.
Mhm.
So no strays out there. Tap into this if you want to repeat. If you want to check it out, go to Hounds of Business on YouTube. You can watch this live. You can find me at Redneck One, right? Mike Asherbrenner on LinkedIn. It's where I live most of the days. Or you could shoot me an old school carrier pigeon. I still take those weather pending, Steve. So thank you all for all of this in the radio show. Thank you, Mike King, ESPN, RVA. You guys are the best. Now, diving back into Steve, we want to get into the nitty gritty. Okay. Barrier breaking. You pulled this in like it was scripted, brother. It wasn't. All right. So we talked about this. I mentioned this noise everywhere, noise, man. I mean, today it's remarkable. I mean, just social media is central, right? People are collecting contacts, connections, etc., but they don't really connect, right? How do you break through those barriers and actually build meaningful relationships through the noise, Steve?
Yeah, so absolutely. That's a great question. So obviously, as I mentioned before, I meet three strangers every day, right? And that's the goal. I don't always hit it. Some days it's one or none, and other days it's three or four or five, right? But that's the goal. 3 days, three strangers. And then I also complement that with LinkedIn as well. And you know, I say all the time when I connect with somebody on LinkedIn. So I challenge you, number one, connect with me on LinkedIn if you're listening to this, watching this. But you're going to get, I'm going to warn you, you're going to get a message that says, let's get on a call. Because everybody that I connect with, I'm encouraging that we get on a call so we get to know each other. I say something to the effect of, it's good to be connected, but if we don't, the only thing we know about each other is what's written on a profile, what good is being connected. And
Bingo.
so so definitely get on a call. Now, does everyone say yes and get on a call? It'd be nice, but I'd probably be busier than a one-legged man in a kicking contest. I'd be busy. And maybe that's a redneck expression. I don't know, but
I put that in my newsletter like a week ago. I'm at the
all right,
top
there you
right
go.
now.
I appreciate
Birds
it.
of a feather.
Exactly. But hey, the point is not everyone does, but I
Right.
I continuously reach out to my network, not to pitch with no agenda, but purely to get on a call because you never know. And the only way to really get to know each other is through a call. Preferably, I like Zoom, or if you're local, we'll grab coffee. But that's to me the way to create real connection. And then the other part, which I don't know if we were planning to speak about, but is really being others focused, having no agenda. And I think people sniff out that, there's a lot of pitch slapping going out there. That's with a P for audience. It's not with a B. Okay. Pitch slapping. And so and if you people feel it. So if you come in with that others focused mentality, I know you had Bob Berg has been on your show, and that go-giver mentality, incredible. He's been on our show too. He's incredible. Him and John David Mann co-wrote the book, right? The Go-Giver. But it's just incredible what happens when you're really looking to serve and look for ways to add value and get to know people. People are hungry they want to talk about themselves, want to talk about their challenges, unfortunately. And all you got to do is be ready to listen.
All right. I'm going to pop up your website so people can go take a look. Folks on the air, listen, if you want to know more about Steve, plug in, get to know, more concepts, go to master-connector.com. Masterconnector.com. That's your one-stop shop to learn more about Steve. Plug in. The guy loves to speak. He's on grand stages. He's on podcasts. Who doesn't want him on it? All right. So go contact him and say, hey, I want you on my show. All right. Have that one-on-one. And let me dive into it because, man, we're so on the same page. It's not funny. You're talking about the moment you realized that you went from self-focused to other people focused.
That's right.
Man, that was the cheat code that changed my life, saved my business career and goals, right? So can you give us an example of a time where serving others first, maybe early on or maybe recently, Steve, that came back around to open up a surprising door and opportunity for you?
Man, there's so many things I could tell you. I mean, like my brain short circuits. But I do remember, I just one example, become one of my best friends, and that is, he reached out to want to get on my show, and good guy, but you could tell, I could hear, I could feel that he was looking for guidance and mentorship. And I'm not a coach. I don't mentor and charge, but but I actually like to mentor young folks where appropriate, because that's what happened with me. I was mentored and continue to be mentored, and I like paying it forward. So, he reached out. We had a good conversation. I was like, listen, I don't know if, be appropriate. And by the way, Rush Hedge is one of my best friends. Great to see Rush Hedge on here. Incredible. I know he's an alumni on the Hounds of Business here as
Oh,
well. I
amazing
saw his
man.
on the video. Incredible man. We pray for Russ every day. But anyway, so this gentleman got, he literally, we became friends, and now he reaches out to me almost every day, and we've collaborated in business, and through just figuring out a way to help him. It was not about me. That blessing has been triple folded and back to me, and that's just one of many, many examples. But just figuring, just what can I do to serve? How can it be a blessing? Rick Gabrielli, you see in that video right there, he's been amazing. I mean, incredible advice, just because I was not focused on me and looking to serve others. I mean, one thing I could say is when I shifted my mentality from being others focused, from being myself and self focused to others, I've had the best 3 or 4 years of my entire life financially, and I believe it's a big result of being others focused. So that's the best way I can answer for now.
Yeah, who else wants to be Steve when they grow up? And I mean that playfully, but I also mean that in your business, because what I hear you saying, or what I feel your energy and just all the things you do, you're not just trying to be a better business guy or this guy or that guy. Correct? You live a harmonious life. You're not just this Steve at business and this Steve at the grocery store. You just Steve, right? And
Yeah.
that's, guys. Y'all hear me say it all the time. Well, now it's not me. I didn't. This is a mindset that really is developed with intention. So, man, my goodness. All right, let's spend the last few minutes and remember, folks, mark your calendars. Shameless plug. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right, Eastern U.S. time. We're going to chop it up Hound style. We have an hour. We're going to be taking. We might bring some folks up. Who knows? We're crazy, right? Like, let's just go there. But we're going to be able to get to know Steve and really get some one-on-one, ask questions kind of format. So, but just kind of going through this. Me and you both. I mean, we're all over this. You've overcome obstacles that myself and a lot of people, especially when I see them in the Hounds, right, that define them, right? They're defined by these challenges and obstacles, but usually in the negative way, right? Introversion is a big one.
Yep.
Learning disabilities, setbacks, whatever, right? Their past, lack of confidence. So, what's your message to someone listening right now who feels their struggles are holding them back and defining them as not good enough?
So one thing I could say is, you mentioned my disabilities. I have dyslexia, and I think that's been the best blessing of my entire life. One of the many blessings, I should say, because it gave me the ability to kind of problem solve creatively and come up with ways around things. And so when there's a big boulder in front of me, I could either bust through it, climb over it, dig under it, go around it, whatever. I'm going to figure out. So if you're dealing with stuff, understand that there's the blessings on the other side of it. Just gotta figure out a way through it. Don't get stopped by it. Action cures fear. One of my favorite books is The Magic of Thinking Big. I'm re-listening to it right now. Just know that better times are coming. Just got to take action. Got to be a little creative. Can't just try, again, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You got to be a little creative, come up with other things. But I'm telling you, in my case, the doors have opened wide. I mean, God has just blessed us in a major, mighty way. And what I'll say is one other thing: don't be afraid to look at other things, not to distract you, but maybe eventually could be the one thing that kind of gets you past that obstacle, right? I know we all say be hyper focused, fine, but you still could look at other things so that it helps bridge that gap to maybe get you where you need to go.
Oh my gosh! All right, so the comments have to be 5 times bigger on this show, Steve. I can't wait till tomorrow. My goodness, I gotta stay focused. You said Bruce Lee. You see, now I know I'm not full. I know I'm not full of it, but you come along saying the same stuff makes me go, yay! I'm on the right track. Bruce Lee said, "Be water," right? So we see. Well, I can't go through it, so I'm going to give up. I stink. I'm not cut out for X, Y, and Z. And you're saying, no, go under, over, zoom off the chessboard, become a chess master is one of the things I said.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Hey,
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
means enough, go figure it out. Maybe you got to create a new rule, new way, right?
Yeah.
And my gosh. And then the stoicism. What stands in the way becomes the way, right? Epictetus, I believe.
Yeah.
So in other words, don't worry about all these other things. Get real here, right? That's
By the way, Bruce Lee wrote a book called The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, Tao meaning the way.
Yeah.
And my book, The Tao of a Master Connector, Shameless Plug, the Tao is the way. So if you're looking for the way, and it's not a religious thing. Tao, I know, can be religion. No. It's not that. It's meant to be the way. But yes, the way. You've got to find a way.
All right. Fun fact. I've read the Tao Te Ching and the I Ching book of changes. You know why? Because my country library ran out of stuff to read. So I went to the Eastern philosophy section. Yeah, a lot of us at Chris and a lot of folks here. So let's wrap it up in the last minute or two. All right. Again, where can they find you and all that? But tell us what first, and then I'm going to close on the most powerful question I've got. Where can folks find you, and where can they find your book or books?
So I know you have down there master-connector.com. That's my speaking website. They could also go to master-connector.com as well, or stevespiro.com is another one you can go to. That'll find it. Or obviously my book is on Amazon. You can get the print version, you can get the Audible version. It's all available. If you go to stevespiro.com, you'll find all the links for that. But yeah, I would love it. I'm a big LinkedIn guy, so find me on LinkedIn. Again, no, I'm going to ask you to get on a call together. So just, but find me that way. It's the best way. And let's connect for sure.
You got it, big dog. All right, last question. And this is going to segue into our topic tomorrow. If you had to lead the audience right now with one action step, right, they could take today, this week, right, to connect more authentically, lead more powerfully, what would it be? What's your takeaway?
I want you to talk to a stranger. Stranger danger.
Oh,
right?
Stranger danger.
Yeah, go meet a stranger today. And I'd like you to at least attempt to exchange contact information. Just do it. And if that's second nature to you, then do 3 or 4 today. All right. There you go.
Challenge yourself, right?
Challenge yourself.
We're going to hit this tomorrow. Limitations. Oh, man. I don't think you ever stop them. I think either you give up or you do it till you die. That's what I'm noticing. There's no limitations stopper. There's no arrival. So let's chop that up tomorrow, my friend.
For sure.
All the hounds, folks in the comments, Mike King, listeners, you all make this possible. Right? It's a joy to be able to share high-level, heart-centered professionals, just like Steve here. Make sure you go to master-connector.com, plug into him. He is he's doing a lot of great speaking gigs. So if you have a summit coming up, right, there's lots of good things like Purpose Summit. Hey, share him, get him on the stage. You won't be sorry. You've seen it for yourself. Plug in tomorrow, folks. And Steve, man, it's an honor, pleasure. Appreciate you practicing what you preach. You're a good man.
Yeah. I appreciate you big time, Mike. Just a pleasure being on with you and your community. I look forward to tomorrow night. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, it's pig roast tomorrow, man. You better get ready. Get the straw hat and whatever else you can find, and we're going to make it happen. Oh, and this guy, Curtis, don't miss tomorrow. He's going to stay up in the UK till midnight, but maybe we can convince him. All right, this guy's amazing. So, folks, thank you so much. You all are the best. We will see you same time. Next week, we have a brick and mortar giant for 30 years making her debut. Last couple of years onto the virtual stage. So if you're an old school brick and mortar and you're trying to expand your reach, but social media may be kind of foreign to you, tune into that one. So Steve, see you tomorrow. Folks in the comments, love you guys, hounds. Y'all make this a dream come true. We'll catch you on the next one. Be good. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.